Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with new Gardendale Rockets head football coach Eric Firestone. Here's your host, Aubrey Johnson.
We're here with the newly minted head football coach of the Gardendale Rockets, Eric Firestone. Eric, welcome in and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about this process and what took place and how you feel about it. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot. The process has been a little over a month.
Right.
I found out from Mr. Dukes, I guess about a month ago that
Right.
this was coming open. Same day that Coach Eads told the team.
Right.
And then I talked to Mr. Dukes again about my intentions to stay on and to become the head coach here.
Right.
He informed me the process and what that would look like. He said he was going to take every applicant and look at everybody, search high and low for any possible or the best possible candidate for the job.
Sure.
So did that. I talked to some of the other administration as well. They asked my viewpoint, maybe some of my vision, and what I saw going forward.
Right.
Then after that, got a call from the county athletic director about my interview, which was this past Monday, what time it was, and then we just had the interview. That was on Monday, and then Mr. Dukes told me he'd let me know before Christmas, regardless.
And he did.
He did, and I was just hoping that I wasn't going to get to Christmas Day and wonder, but he told me he'd let me know before Christmas break.
Okay.
And he did, and it's been great.
Good.
Very very excited about this opportunity.
Sure.
Means a lot for. I've talked to some other head coaches as well, or some other assistant coaches. I'm not a new young guy anymore.
Okay.
I've tried to become a head coach for a long time. Hopefully, this continues to motivate some of those guys that have been in it for a long time.
Right.
That if you continue to keep working and do what you're supposed to, that you'll get your shot.
Awesome. So the people around here know you as the defensive coordinator.
Yes.
But I bet they don't have the full picture.
Correct.
Let's start off by telling us a little bit about your family.
Well, I've got a wonderful family. My wife Anna and I have been married for 20 years.
Wow.
She jokes all the time that when we got engaged, I was a youth minister at the time.
Okay.
And not a football coach, but very soon after that, I became a football coach. So she said she didn't have the full story when she said yes.
Right. Right.
So we were educators together for a long time. In the last few years, she's transitioned to private business. She's got her own store here in Gardendale.
Nice.
And I've got 3 kids. I've got Jackson, who's a senior.
Okay.
He's graduating this spring, going on to play baseball at Calhoun Community College.
Nice.
My son, middle son Nixon, he's in 7th grade. He plays football here at Bragg, and then my daughter Ella Kate, who's 9, is at Gardendale Elementary.
Okay. Very good. So you grew up in Hoax Bluff.
That's right.
How did you get started into football, and kind of at what age, and kind of run through that with us?
I believe I was 10 around that time. I had a bunch of friends that had been playing football before.
Nice.
My family, really, my parents weren't both athletes in school.
Right.
So I was kind of late getting into sports.
Right.
I started, playing soccer and basketball, and then football was one of the last things that I started playing.
Okay.
And I got involved doing it that way. I actually nearly quit football when I was about 12, and I had the coach. His name was Chuck Weaver. He was our local Pee Wee coach, and he
Right.
taught me into staying. And he actually told me I was not going to quit. And he told me to come out. He needed me to do something at practice, and then I just stuck with it, and I never stopped.
Awesome. So fast forward through high school, you go on to North Texas
Yes.
for college. My understanding is you were on the team. Is that right?
Yes, I was on the team, but I didn't play. I practiced a whole lot.
Okay.
I got to hold a lot of dummies.
On the scout team.
That's right.
Okay.
I was on the scout team. I was a long snapper as well. We had a an All-American punter at the time. They ended up playing in NFL for the last year or so. All I did was snap to him in practice so that he could do his thing.
Good deal. Well, then after that, you decided to come out and become a youth pastor.
Yes.
But at some point, things changed for you. You decided that coaching football would be a better fit. Tell us about the change.
Well, to be honest with you, there's really no change. I've been doing youth ministry in public education for 23 years.
Nice.
So when I was a youth minister, I loved that time.
Right.
I was at a church in Florence, Alabama, and then after about a year or so, I realized that if I wanted to continue on and continue to have an impact and be in kids' lives, I could do a better job. And I'm not saying this is better, but I could be around kids more.
Right.
In a classroom every day, on a practice field, and so I've always considered football as my ministry.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds awesome. Give us an overview of your coaching career. Kind of start at the beginning of the coaching career and bring us up to present day.
Okay. So about the time when I was about a year into my youth ministry there, I realized, like I said, I wanted to become a teacher and a coach.
Right.
So I started looking at what did that mean? How could I do that?
Right.
And at the time, it was really hard to become a teacher in Alabama. Like you had to have all your I's dotted, everything. It's not like it is right now.
Right.
So I went back to school at North Alabama, took a couple classes, and after about a semester or two, I realized this is going to take me a little while.
Right.
I had a degree in political science. When I graduated, I had no desire to become an educator.
Okay.
So I was basically almost starting from scratch.
Right.
So I started weighing some options, and then I found out that back in Texas, you could become a teacher immediately. They were hiring emergency certifications like immediately. There was a lot of programs, and there was actually a brand new program at University of North Texas where I just graduated from that you could go ahead and start teaching, get your master's degree, and so I applied for that, was accepted, and then the last summer I applied for probably 150 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, in Texas, and it was a crazy thing. Me and my wife, she was my fiance at the time, we were driving out for a wedding to Texas, one of my friends on the team, and I got a phone call from a guy named David Hughes at Sanger High School, and he was asking me when I could come for an interview.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I'm actually on my way to Texas right now. I can do it Monday after this wedding.
Right.
So went to the wedding and then came back, had the interview. He hired me within a couple hours. So then it was scramble time, come back to Alabama, and then and then I started at Sanger Middle School for 2 years.
Wow.
It was some of the best experience I had because we did everything. So there were 3 coaches at the middle school, and in the middle school there, we had a separate 7th grade team, a separate 8th grade team.
Right.
On each team, we had about 70 kids.
Wow.
And like I said, with 3 coaches, we coached everything.
Right.
And not only did we coach everything, but then on Friday nights we had to go scout. On Saturday mornings we had to drive up to the high school.
Right.
Show what we scouted, all that stuff. So it was a big learning process.
Sure.
After 2 years, I got my certification, got my master's degree, and then me and my wife decided to move back to Alabama to be closer to family, start a family. David Todd at Talladega High School gave me an opportunity.
Okay.
So I was there for a couple of years, went to Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Coached for Johnny Wright for 3 years, and then Adam Weingarten the last year.
All right.
So it was a great time. And then one of my best friends from high school, Will Wagnon, called me at Munford High School. He had been there for a year.
Okay.
He needed a defensive coordinator, and this was my shot to become a coordinator. So we moved to Munford, and that was really probably the next big step in my career.
Right.
We were there together for 4. Won a lot of ball games, made a lot of really good connections there.
Right.
We decided to move together to Hazel Green, Alabama. He took the head coaching job there. I was defensive coordinator again. We did that for 3 years, and then we kind of all went our separate ways. He went to Oxford, and then he's now the offensive coordinator at Auburn High School.
Wow.
And I came here to Gardendale.
Okay.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
And how long have you been here?
I've been here since 2018, so I just finished my 7th year.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Fantastic! Mm-hmm. So you know the lay of the land a little bit.
I do now, yeah. So yeah, I was talking to a coach yesterday. He said one of the best things about this opportunity is where they keep the knee pads and mouthpieces and stuff like that. So
for sure,
it's a good thing for me.
Okay, so you're coming off the Gardendale staff, becoming the head coach. I had a question about that. Are you planning on retaining any of that staff, or are you going to start completely fresh?
No, we'll retain some staff. There's a couple guys that are choosing to move on.
Okay.
And there's also about 3 or 4 guys that are choosing to stay. And so and that's great. And there's I'm excited for the guys that are staying, and I'm excited for the guys that are leaving as well.
Right. New opportunities for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the great thing about here. The last 7 years, I've worked with a lot of very, very good people.
Right.
That are good coaches.
Right.
And those guys that are moving on, they're going to go to big things as well.
Sure. So all this time coaching, becoming a coordinator, all that time, I'm sure you thought in the back of your mind and probably studied a little bit, if I became head coach, mm-hmm. what would I do? In that vein, what is your coaching philosophy?
The big thing I've always wanted to do, whether it be a teacher or a coach or whatever, is create value for other people.
Sure. And
to help that person become the best version of themselves.
Absolutely.
So in whatever way I can help doing that.
Right.
So that's kind of my philosophy is how can we take a young man who comes in the program after his 8th grade year.
Yes.
And when he leaves after his senior year of football, how can he be the absolute best version, not just athletically, but as a young man in the classroom? How can they be the best version? And the thing is, there's no cookie cutter way to do any and everything, and I'm a big believer that each team, each year, it's its own thing,
right?
And you've got to be able to adapt to that,
right? For sure.
And just like every school is its own thing. So if I was at a smaller school, I would probably have to continue to be the defensive coordinator, and do things. But with us being able to, if we're able to hire the right people, then I can allow somebody else to do that, and I just kind of oversee that and make sure and kind of guide them along as they move forward in their coaching career.
Well, as you mentioned, this is your ministry.
Yes, absolutely.
Good deal. So who would you say have been influencers and mentors that you've had along your coaching career that have shaped you?
I've had several, and there's no way I could not mention Coach Eads.
Right.
The last 7 years, he's been a mentor. He's been a friend. I mean, he took us in. Him and his family did, and loved on us.
Right.
There's a lot of things I learned from him as far as how to run the program the right way. Mm-hmm. He's along the same lines. It's about making sure those kids do right. And it's more than just football.
Right.
Like I Coach Wagner, Will Wagner. I was with him for 7 years, and again, we actually grew up together. He's actually probably one of the best offensive minds I've ever seen.
Gotcha.
To be challenged every day in practice, him running the offense, me running the defense.
Right.
It was never a day where I could sit back and just be on my heels. It was always learning. And he pushed the program. He pushed me to become a better coach. I mean, I'm very thankful for all the time that I've had with him.
Okay.
Still consider him a really good friend and mentor. Adam Weingarten, just with his organization and his philosophy.
Right.
I was only with him for a year, but learned a ton from him.
Right.
So Coach Todd, the first guy I worked for here in Alabama, I mean, he turned me loose. He let me be a coordinator for a year, and that was a complete disaster. But I was a young guy, and I learned a lot.
Right. Good deal. So what kind of culture do you want to create here for the players?
We want to make sure that we are high character people, and when people see our football players out and about, that they can see that there's something different about them.
Yes.
I'm a big believer in, again, making kids do right in every aspect.
Right.
Discipline program. We want to make sure we tidy up everything as far as and just how they carry themselves, how they speak. We want to make sure, again, that they are the complete player, not just football.
Right. Good deal. Well, Coach, that's our show. We certainly appreciate your time, and we hope that this is the first of many shows to come.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And we want to thank you for watching as well. Keep in mind, PrepsNet, we're doing our basketball show right now with Coach Chris Berry. So watch us week in and week out, either on Facebook, YouTube, or PrepsNet.com for that show. Stay with us, and we'll continue on with Gardendale Athletics. Until next time.